installing this, a trailer hitch, a little guy, on this 2017 Honda Accord. It's pretty straightforward, basic tools required, but we are going to have to drop the exhaust and make some cuts to the heat shield, so I'm going to show you how to do that next. Alright, come over here, you can see this. So we're going to start out, just take your favorite penetrating oil and get a little on these nuts, depending on what part of the country you live in. It might be more rusty than others. And then each muffler only has one rubber grommet holding it on there, and you can give those a little spray so that they'll slide out a little bit easier. Alright, these nuts on the exhaust here are 14 millimeters, so we're going to break those loose first. That was way too easy. Alright, so we got the nuts off here, and I'm going to separate the exhaust. There's one hanger back here. There is a tool that you can use to get exhaust hangers off that makes it a little bit easier, but I've never really run into one that I couldn't get off with just the right size flathead screwdriver. So this one actually, it looks like if you just grab it, pull it straight, not too bad. Now we've got the exhaust just hanging on the front hangers. Now this is the part that's probably going to be handy to have an additional person with you. Okay, so after looking at it, I've put the exhaust back up and put one nut in it just so it holds it. Since there's only hangers on the very rear, when you let it hang, it puts a lot of pressure on the tips and on the plastic bumper. So I'm going to pull these exhaust hangers off first, and then I'll have my second person support the back while we lower it together. Lift up. I'll just come straight down. Easy peasy. Sides, there's 4 bolts in each shield, and they are 10 millimeters. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. We are going to fish this and this, not together. This is what they're going to look like when they're in there. We're going to fish these through this hole, bring them up and back and down. It's going to be very fun. This is going to be what holds this bolt straight inside of here. The directions make it sound so simple, so we'll see how this goes. Not a lot of extra space. Oops. Okay, got that through. Alright, now the directions say to put the flat piece on first, and then put a kink in the wire so that the bolt doesn't touch this as you pull it through. So we'll see how that goes. So I'll put that on. I'm going to put a kink. That, I guess. I don't want to lose this side of the wire. That there we go. I think that looks pretty good. Now it's threaded, so we can just thread the bolt up in there. Okay, darn it. Let's see what happens. This is already trying to go onto the bolt. Darn. Just a little steeper kink. There we go. Once this is up there, I'm just nervous that I will never be able to get it back out if I do it incorrectly. Alright, let's see. I'm already nervous. Look, it's in there. Alright, there goes nothing. The kink. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That, I can't believe that just happened. That worked the first try. Okay, so I just did the second wire trick over here, and it worked again flawlessly. I'm so impressed with whoever invented this because it just worked really, really well. All right, so enough excitement about that. Next up, you're gonna take this U-bolt and it's gonna go right through the tow hook right here, and that's gonna be our bolting point for the front of the hitch. Okay guys, for the cutting portion, you're gonna measure down 3 inches from the edge right here, and then it's gonna be 4 inches from this edge to here, and at the bend, it's gonna be 4 inches from the bend to this side. And then I just drew a line so that I can follow this around. I'm gonna use some tin snips to cut this, but you can use a Dremel or other cutting wheel if you prefer. Like big scissors, look how easy this is. And I would say it's better to go wider to cut a little bit more than a little bit less, because it doesn't, you know, you'd rather have more space than less space when you're putting the hitch up there. And be super careful because it is thin metal and you can see the little slivers that are coming off. That will cut you very quickly. Ask me how I know. Job done. All right, now that we got the heat shields trimmed, we can pop these bad boys back up here. We did lose one bolt hole right here when we cut it out, but like I said, these things are super light and flimsy, and I think that 3 will be more than adequate. All right, so I'm gonna be using Loctite on these guys. Anything that you don't want to come loose, always a good idea. I'm using blue right here on all the bolts, just so I don't have to worry about them coming loose. Okay, so after doing a test fit, we didn't have enough off the heat shield, so I did cut almost another inch out of this section right here. So it's worth noting that you might need to take a little bit more off. All right, that's all we gotta do. I got the Loctite on these and ready to bolt it up. I feel shaky. Okay, I think I got the wrong bolt, or nut. Okay, so the nuts are 2 different sizes. Make sure that you have the larger ones if you're gonna do the side first, because I was just sitting there spinning it and it was tiny and I was getting tired. So I've got the right one now. Let's see if we can make it happen. Oh, much easier when you got the right tool for the job. All right. Oh, caught it. There we go. All right, so our new nuts here are gonna be 14 millimeters, and the ones on the ends are gonna be 17 millimeters. We can go ahead and snug those up. All right, the hitch is all up, and we're gonna go ahead and install our exhaust back in reverse order. And make sure you put a little WD-40 or some kind of lubricant back on there. It's gonna make your life a lot easier as I spray that into my eyeballs. It's a good time to talk about safety glasses, right? All right, we're gonna put this first. Ready to go with it? Push this side. All right, cool. So we're all done. I think that took maybe 45 minutes with filming and everything. The installation was super easy. The guide wires that they supplied were super easy. If you guys have questions, post them up for me. And please subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, are you filming? Start over.